you always thought the only way to make more money would be to sell more houses? Have you ever considered that it feels wrong to increase your fee? Are you tired of grinding and occasionally, or maybe all the time, discounting your value in your services to keep your business going? Well, if so, today we discuss exactly what to say to earn higher commissions, exactly what to say to get prospects to meet with you, to hire you without any hesitation about fee, and how to increase your profitability and your joy in your business without having to have more clients. My name is Todd Tremonti, and I have built a team in the Dallas-Fort Worth area where we sell 100 plus homes every year, do millions of dollars in gross commission income with a pretty darn high net. And of course, I coach agents all over North America, helping them do similarly to put the systems and structure in their business to get out of the chaos and the grind and the overwhelm and the lack of profit and get into wealth and freedom and building the business that supports the life they want to live. So if you've identified with anything so far, lock in. This is Commissioned, the podcast where we help folks get out of that chaos and into that freedom. And here we go. Along with me is Grady Dill, the director of real estate growth systems, helping me coach those agents all over North America. What's up, Grady?
What up?
There he is. Always a lot to say, folks. We'll try to draw him in a little bit later. But if any of that rings true for you, or if maybe you've based your value just off of what others charge, I'd say you're doing it wrong. And I would say that's a habit that is not just you. That's the habit of our entire industry, is really thinking very little about our value and our fee and thinking a lot more about one more buyer, one more seller, one more deal. And so I want to talk about exactly what to say to get the appointment, to get the client, to preempt what might be a discussion about fees, to win before the battle even starts, to dominate a competitor that might actually charge a lower fee than you, to basically rid yourself of the distraction of any competition. What if you could communicate your value and your fee in that way, in a way that would be that compelling? We're going to get into it. I'm going to share exactly what to say in many of those instances. Now, who is this for and who is it not for? Let me be very clear up front. I have no interest in helping you charge a higher fee if you are not providing significant value, right? When I say higher, I want to clarify that too. There is no standard fee in residential real estate, especially here in North America. There's no set fee. There's no industry fee. There's no state fee. There is no set commission or fee for real estate agents. All commissions are negotiable and not set by law. They should be set by you. You should determine your fee. And I think the ethical way to do that is to base your fee on your value, not on your competition, not on what's normal. As a matter of fact, our industry has been through significant upheaval at many different junctures, including the last couple of years, because of either the perception or the reality that everybody charges the same thing, or that everybody has to charge the same thing, or that fees are not negotiable. So none of that is true. Fees are negotiable. You shouldn't be charging the same thing. We all have different levels of value. Therefore, we should have different fees. Now, there are other episodes on other aspects of that. So go check out Commission, the podcast, subscribe, give us a review if you're enjoying what you're finding there. But look for some of those other nuanced topics. Today, we're talking about literally what to say, assuming that you have great value and your fee is associated with it. My goal for you is to increase your value and therefore be able to increase your fee so that you can earn higher commissions. Not just get higher commissions, but earn higher commissions. Be worth higher commissions. Higher than what? Because there's no standard. Higher than what you are charging now. That's what I mean by higher. Whatever you're charging now, unless it is already a unique and premium fee based on your unique and premium value, we're talking about increasing your value to increase your fees. This is not an episode about how to increase your value. So check that out on other episodes, or feel free to click a link near this video. We can jump on a free 15 or 20 minute call. I'll be happy to talk to you about that. But today is about what to say to earn those fees that you are worth. So if you're not worth much, tune out, because I'm about to tell you how to get the fees. So let's play a little hypothetical here. And I might have off camera Grady Dill, or the Grady Dill here, as most people call him. I'm not going to say your kid's name, but he's a dad now, folks. He's a dad now.
Daddy Dill.
Daddy Dill. That felt wrong. Okay,
Yeah,
so
weird.
Here's the thing. I believe in years and years and years of coaching this stuff, I believe that the area of most hesitation is just beginning this conversation. And so I like to begin it with a bit of shock and awe. right? So assuming that you're on the phone or you're in a scenario where you are not yet like fully trusting each other. You're trying to compel someone to trust you to meet. And for whatever reason, fee is coming up. And I want you to be able to get the appointment for them to hire you without any fear or concern about fee whatsoever. So let's address it up front. So hypothetically, we'll role play it a little bit. You can play the part of the person. It doesn't matter the scenario. Let's just say we're on the phone and you are going to ask me my fee.
Hey, Todd, what's your fee?
Well, Grady, I appreciate you asking that. It's 10%.
Is that normal?
No, I'm just kidding, Grady. That's not my fee. My fee is something that you and I will decide together when we sit down together once I know what it is you need me to do. By the way, Grady, anybody who tells you their fee over the phone before they have any idea what they need to do for you might not be somebody whose leadership you want to trust. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So that language alone destigmatizes the situation. Let me be very clear. I'm not suggesting that that 10% is the right or wrong fee for anybody. All commissions are negotiable and not set by law. The point I'm making here is go ahead and just throw something out to like demystify the topic and let it be ridiculously high. If you want to be silly, I wouldn't do this, but if you want to try it, you could say we're free. Like it's zero. Haha, just kidding. Obviously not. But that's something we'll decide together. So that's exactly what you can say to take the commission being their deciding factor to meet with you. See how we're doing that? We're taking that away as the decision-making factor. Because I just said, no, having a fee before I know what the fee is for is ridiculous. And you're going, yeah, actually that makes sense. That's logical. So if we're talking about getting the appointment, getting the sit down, getting a face-to-face, so that I can communicate my value. That's the point of the appointment, by the way. The point is not for you to get the listing. Catch that. You don't want to get the listing if they're insane or the value's wrong. The point is not to get the listing. Now, that is ultimately the goal if they see our value and they understand it and they seem like someone you can genuinely help and they're someone you want to work with. Some of them you're not going to want to work with. And you're going to get so good that you get to choose who you work with. You don't have to work with just anybody. Episodes on that as well. So this is language intended to get you the appointment with a lot of trust going in and lowering the level of stress and anxiety around fee and taking it away as the decision-making factor for the appointment. So you got it. Now you can use that as well. Now, what would you say at the appointment to get your fee associated with your value? Let me say that one more time. What do you say at the appointment to get the fee you want, which should be tied to your value, not just because you want it, but to get you a higher fee than you're probably currently getting because you offer the value. What do you say? Now, on an episode of this podcast, we're not going to do like the entire initial consultation, what some people would call your listing presentation. We don't call that at Real Estate Growth Systems. We call it your initial consultation because it should not be a presentation. It should be a conversation. I just told you that's something we'll decide together. If I present at you and just tell you, there's some honest, obvious skepticism. Like, well, take it or leave it, I guess. If you feel like, and genuinely it's true that we came to this conclusion together, then let's go. So that's the goal. So what I will give you is some things to say. I can't give you all the things to say. I mean, I could if you were a coaching client or whatever. But for now, I'm going to tell you exactly what you want to say there. If you already know you are geeked out and all in on this and you want to talk about how to implement this into your business, there's a link below this video or this audio, and you can jump on my schedule if there's some time available this week. And I love to have these conversations. Let's talk strategy. Let's talk about how to implement this into your business or what's next for your business or what would be a wise next move. There's no charge for that whatsoever. If you want to talk about coaching or mastermind or an event or a VIP day or something like that, we can do that, but it is also okay for you to claim that time. We'll talk about how the language of getting the fee that you want could be implemented into your business or anything else to help you grow. So what do you say at the appointment to get the listing? Can't talk about all of it, but let's talk about some of the critical points. Let's assume, Grady, that we're face-to-face at what I call a marketing initial consultation, what a lot of people would call a listing presentation. And we get to the point where I am now going to introduce the fee to you. I know you already know this, but this is a point where most agents get really nervous. And the way they communicate this is going to determine how the potential seller feels about it. Here's what I suggest people say. Now, you have to be here, you have to roll with me here that I have already communicated my value. I'm not addressing fee until I've already communicated my value. And so we're going to have a conversation about your net proceeds. And I'm going to have said something. I'm going to have the data, right? But I'm going to say, hey, Grady, based on everything you've told me and, what you owe and all the other key numbers and everything here, the way I'm looking at this, I think my team and I would be able to get this job done, get the property sold, and you would walk away with about $480,000. Would you guys be excited to walk away with $480,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be?
When we talked on the phone the other day, I think you guys had said you were hoping to get $450,000, right? So an extra $30,000. If you found $30,000 on the ground today, Grady, would you ever forget that for the rest of your life?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So basically, that's what I think is going to happen here. All the math considered, I think you guys will walk away with around 480, just depending on what we choose to do with negotiations. Now, all that said, in order for my team and I to do that, our fee is going to be blah, blah, blah. And we will or will not share that with such and such and so and so. Now, that's where your state and your contract, you'll have to explain that the way you explain that in your state. But that's how I present my fee, right? You've already accepted it. I'm just telling you now that this is one of the ingredients of that pie that you just said you'd be super happy with, right? Now, obviously, if we had context, I could present that even more compellingly because I would have said, you guys said you wanted this. Would you be happy if we could walk away with that? Now, obviously, if the numbers aren't good, you might not even be asking them for their business. But there's some exactly what to say to once again demystify this fee conversation. Now, be a little tougher on me. What do I say when I'm trying to get the appointment when you might be somewhat surprised or have some follow-up questions about that fee? So just give me some sort of gut check on the fee and don't use any specific numbers.
But my friend on the street that's a realtor is also charging me or offered to charge me blank.
Yeah. Which is less, right?
Which is way less.
Yeah. Hey, Grady, I appreciate you saying that because obviously you probably know 15 real estate agents. There's one on every corner. I do want to ask you really quickly, your friend down the street seems like a great guy. Did he walk you through exactly his marketing plan for your house?
Not as in depth as yours, but we talked about it.
Yeah. And so did he talk about his private portfolio system?
No.
Do you think if he had one, he would have told you about it?
No, he just told me about posting it on the MLS.
Yeah. Which I would argue is not exactly a marketing system, but it is a pretty powerful thing to do. And obviously anybody with a license around here can do that. Did they talk to you about how they create scarcity and urgency around your house specifically?
No.
If they were able to do that, do you think he would have told you about it?
I would hope so.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is your friend down the street is willing to do less for less. And if that's what you want, that may be something that you should consider. But if you want a different result than the normal agent, wouldn't it make sense you would need a different process?
Yeah, I think you're onto something.
And would it make sense that a different process would have a different fee?
Yep.
Yeah. So does it make sense for us to work together?
Yeah. It
Now,
does.
if you want to give more pushback, we'll keep the role play going. But ultimately,
it's hard to argue with that, though.
That's the point. This is language that takes away their doubt. It's not to trick them. It's not to convince them. It's to get them to see clearly, I do want a different result. And he's not different. I know a lot of guys like him. He just happens to be my neighbor, right? But what you're showing me is different. And you did show me this thing and that thing and this thing. All along the way, you checked in with me and made sure that I saw value. And you made sure that I saw how that would save time and that would reduce liability and that would make it easier on my family and that would save us from moving twice. You already showed me all that in the presentation of your value. Again, don't present it, but in the communication of your value. So that's some language to use there. And by the way, a script that just about everybody knows, and if you don't, I'm not here to insult you. I'm just saying this one's very common and I didn't write it. At some level, you may find yourself saying, hey, what's more important to you, Grady? What you pay me or the amount of money you walk away with at the end? No one in their right mind is going to be like, I don't care how much I walk away with. I want to know what I'm paying you. If they do, then you're like, hey, I've never had anyone say that. And if that's your priority, we're probably just not a great fit for each other. And that's totally okay. And you pack your stuff up and leave. Hopefully they're at your office or on neutral ground and they leave. Either way. What do you say to absolutely obliterate your competition, even if they charge less than you and you don't even know who they are? By the way, I already gave one example of this on the call. You remember it? Which one?
Just now when we were role playing?
No, early. Well, I think it was earlier in the role play when I said anybody who tells you their fee before they know what that fee is for, I would just be very cautious to trust their leadership.
Yep.
Well, what do most agents do when that person asks their fee?
Tell them.
They tell them.
Yeah.
And it's almost always the same, right? And so now they're like, oh, he told me. Now I'm wondering, how do they know their fee? They don't know what I need yet. So I have honestly and ethically, in a very legitimate way, helped them see the silliness of that. Now, if you're watching or listening right now, until this moment, you would have done that. Hopefully this is helpful to you. This is a a wake-up call in a good way that you shouldn't know your fee yet. Now, you might know when I get to do my full bore, everything I'm capable of doing, that's my fee for that. And I charge that same fee a lot of the time because most people follow my recommendation. That's fine. But until you know the unique property and what you need to do and what all goes into it, it should not be a one-size-fits-all business. You should be at least factoring in some uniqueness of cost and time and energy and results and all those things. Also, you should be factoring in whether you want their business at all. So that's a whole nother conversation. What do you say to get the listing signed at the appointment without hesitation every time you want the client? Emphasis on every time you want the client. I already gave an example of this. Here's the masterful closing line. You ready?
Hit me.
Hey, based on everything we said, Grady, and you've already told me as we've gone through the whole thing that you see how it would save you money. You see how it would make you more money. You see how it would save you time and limit liability. But based on everything we've discussed together already, does it make sense for us to work together?
I think so. It'd be silly for me to walk away.
That's the whole closing line. That's it. Now, if you're watching on video, you saw my posture and my gesture.
Jester.
You saw my face. And I was smiling a bit, not too much, but a little smile and a nod, an affirmative nod, a yes nod, right? And I'm doing that all throughout the initial consultation, every time you affirm my value, which I want you to do over and over. I want you to be saying, yeah, yes, yes, yes. I don't want to ask you any questions through that process where I want you to say no. I just want you in the habit of yes. Now, I'm not manipulating you. I'm just keeping the focus on the value and the positives. And if for some reason you're like, actually, I don't see the value in that. Great. Good to know now. Let's deal with that. And if for some reason you're like, I don't value that, I don't think that's helpful, then that's where I might say we may be misaligned. And that's okay too. So if you do all that well, literally, I'm going to ask you that if I've determined you're a good fit for me and I want your business, and I know with like near absolute certainty what your answer is going to be, because you have already affirmed to me along the way that you see all the value and the savings and the efficiency. And you've said things like, man, no one's ever said this to me before. I've never seen this before. And so now I'm asking a question I basically already know the answer to that feels very easy to say yes to. Grady, based on everything we've said, and you've said blah, blah, and blah, blah, it makes sense for us to work together. So that's the exact language to kind of demystify that. Now, I want to flip it and give you a little bit of like, why do you care about this? Why would you care about being able to increase your value and increase your fee and what to say and how to get this done? Okay. So I said some of this at the kind of intro, but are you at all tired of discounting your value and your services? Have you ever had somebody that wanted you to pay for a refrigerator to get a deal done, but you had there's no reason you should pay for a refrigerator? Have you ever had somebody that wanted you to pay some closing costs just to get a deal done, because if the deal doesn't get done, you don't make anything? Have you ever felt like your value, your fee is the one everybody's always coming for? Well, then maybe you would care about increasing your value and your communication of that value to a point that people would stop reaching into your pocket and they would actually pay you more and respect your value. Again, if that's something you want to work on and implement like right away or at any point in the future, click the link below this video or near this audio and let's jump on a call together. There's almost no other topic in business that I like to talk about more. It's one of the major levers that will get you from chaos to freedom, get you from grinding to wealth. And by the way, I think I have a unique gift to help people do this. When we asked our coaching clients and our mastermind members and our event attendees, like, what's your primary takeaway? Probably number one is about purpose and about impact. And then number two, the tactical real estate is about people seeing their value bigger than they ever have. People choosing to increase their value and then increase their fee, which is kind of what we're talking about here. So a lot of people that are good people, genuine, ethical people, will, at least in the early stages, potentially feel like it's wrong to increase your fee. So you might care about this topic because it's tugging at your brain a little bit, but your heart is telling you, I don't know if that's right. I don't know if I should do that. That feels wrong. And it feels wrong because one of the places that our industry is well-intentioned is to care about the client and to say, look, I don't want to take advantage, but name an industry where the best people in that industry don't get paid the most money. Name a scenario where the people that add the most value don't get compensated for that value. Name a scenario where you help people net more money or spend less money on a purchase or protect themselves from liability or help them save time and provide for their families and themselves and their security and their safety and their joy in their home. And there's not a corollary there on value. There's no other industry where that would make sense. The best attorneys have the highest billable rates. The best CPAs, the partners charge more than the associates, right? But our industry doesn't have the language and the structure for someone who's at the top of their career 40 years in versus someone who's on their 8th attempt at a career and they're 19 and barely got the license after they took the test 11 times and they can't focus and don't care about clients. Why would those two people charge the same amount of money?
Makes no sense.
It makes no sense. And even though we know we're not worth the same, we often still allow ourselves to charge the same. And so you may feel that it's wrong, but I would say lovingly that you are wrong. And that actually makes no sense and is borderline unethical. You should be ethical and distance yourself from the ridiculousness of our industry. Now, one thing that I appreciate when people say is, hey, I don't know if I'm worth it yet. Yet is the key word. Because with some coaching, with some training, with some help, with some study, with some practice, or if you want to do it the hard way, just with a bunch of time and mistakes, you can learn how to add more value for your clients. And then you'll be able to say, hey, I know I'm worth it now. I know my value is there, and now I'll adjust my fee accordingly. Now, we help coaching clients make that transition in days and weeks, not in years. But that's not a wrong thought. If you are not worth it yet, and you're like, I know I'm not really a premium value yet. Okay, great. Good place to be. Now let's fix that, and then we'll work on fee. Now, you may have thought like really the only way to make more money is just to sell more houses. What a wake up call this is for you, right? What if you increase your fee, whatever it is, whatever you charge? What if the amount you get to keep went up 50%? So you made $100,000 last year. You get to make $150,000 this year selling the exact same number of homes. Imagine how much better you could get for those people, how much more value you could add, and your income could go up. Now, just think about this. What percentage of your fee makes it to your bank account at the end of the year? What if you increased your fee just enough to double that part and your cost didn't go up much or any? You could double your income by increasing your value and increasing your fee. And believe it or not, it's simpler and easier than most people believe that to be. We've done other episodes on that as well. Now, this one's risky, and so I'm going to be careful. But if you have been basing your fee for any reason on what other people charge, you are doing it wrong. That is inappropriate. You're not a bad person, but that's not the right way to do this. That's not the right business way to do it. And our industry has been legally, meaning there are laws in place, Sherman Antitrust Act and others like that. There are ethical standards in place. There are licensing rules in place. And you probably have some brokerage mandates in place not to all charge the same thing. So let me clarify this. If you are charging the same as other people just because it's comfortable, that's wrong. That's inappropriate. That's not ideal. And our industry is under attack because people do that. Now, the second way of thinking about this is if you are basing your fee off of what others charge, not charging what they charge, but if you're like, oh, I'm better than her, I'll just charge more than her. Or I'm not as good as him, I'll charge a little bit less than him. That's still not ideal because you should choose your fee based on the value you deliver to someone, not the cost of what you deliver, not your time, not how much photos cost, not your license fees, but what is the value to the client? If you get your buyers $10,000 more in equity than most people, how much of that is it worth for them? Is it worth $2,000 to get 10? Are people okay with a 5-to-1 ROI on your unique fee differences or whatever? If you get sellers $30,000 more for their home on average, or 10% more or whatever, how much of that is a fair exchange for the premium value that you get? That's how you should base your fee. And again, of course, we help our team members and our agents, but also our coaching clients and our broker clients and our team leader clients figure this out for their models. We do not price fix. We just help them understand that their fee should be associated with their value, not more or less than someone else or not the same as anybody else. It shouldn't be about anybody else. It should be about the value you deliver and a fair exchange for that value. So the takeaway here is a lot of the language we shared, but I never ever want to give you like tactical without strategy, without why. So if you are looking for the language of real estate and the strategy of real estate, that's what we do here at Real Estate Growth Systems. We'd be happy to jump on a Zoom call with you or maybe get you connected on an upcoming event that we have. Just click the link below this video or near this audio, and you can jump on my calendar. You and I can speak directly. I will do what I can in 15 or 20 minutes to help you build your business. And if it makes sense for us to connect on coaching, consulting, VIP day, an event, something like that, we'll point you towards that stuff as well. So I appreciate you hanging out with us on this episode of Commissioned, and I will talk to you on the next one.